Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, Gayle Carson 13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. My guest today is Debbi Dachinger, and I am so thrilled to interview her because she's a friend of mine who does the New Media Summit with me and is one of the most popular media personalities that you'll find. She has been interviewed on over 1,000 media outlets. She's a syndicated award-winning podcast host. She's been nominated for the People's Choice Podcast Award. She's a certified coach and author of 3 international best-selling books. And as a media visibility authority, she coaches people how to write a page-turner book, run a company that guarantees books become an international bestseller, and teaches the ultimate visibility formula. So she has done an awful lot. She's a popular media guest and speaker. She's a keynoter at high-level national events, and she's been on the cover of, I can't tell you how many magazines. She's been on the cover of many and a contributor to Published Magazine, awards and accolades, editor's pick, featured intriguing creator, broadcasting industry lifetime achievement award. Oh, Debbi, I could go on and on and on. So let's first say hi. How are you?
Hey, Gayle. It's so great to be with you today. Thank you for having me. I'm well.
Well, good. Now, you really are promotion and publicity driven, and you've been doing this for a long time, and this is a women in business show. So why do you think that your topic is so important, especially now?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Those are the modus operandi words. So for women, I think a big part of our history and our journey has been about finding our voice and then using it for great effect out into the world. So many women I know have incredible wisdom stored inside of them. And what are they going to do with it? One of the most effective ways to get it out and be very visible is to write a book, or write a chapter in an anthology, or be interviewed. And we can all do that from home. So right now is an auspicious time for us to get our voice and our message out there.
You know, it's so funny that you talk about how much wisdom we have. My son keeps in touch with me. He's out in California, and he keeps in touch with me every day. And he says, so what are you doing, Mom? And I say, well, I get up and I exercise. I take care of the cats. Then I'm doing webinars, and I'm listening to seminars and this and that and the other. He says, how do you put any more into that brain of yours? She says, you have so much knowledge. How do you keep putting things in there? And I keep saying, because when you stop learning, you stop living, But it's true. Many women have a whole source of information inside of them, and they have not yet gotten it out. And everybody does talk about, I want to write a book, So even if they can't write a book, they can write a chapter, which is what you talk about as an anthology. So why do you think your skill set or your unique superpower has helped you become as successful as you are?
I think it's really important that we all understand what a spot is. And a sweet spot basically for every person is the kind of passion that doesn't feel like work. So what I do, I don't look at and think, I have to get up and do that, even though there are pieces that are definitely more fun than others, right? For me to engage with people, relationship, teach, that's fun. The other pieces, the more businessy pieces, not so much. But I know I'm creating something I love out into the world. And the other piece of knowing our sweet spot is understanding that it lands. So for some people, it's being on camera. For some people, it's writing. For some people, it's emoting. For some people, it's shining the light on other people. For some people, it's creating a theme that other people are attracted to, or very particular services or products. I think it's really important to know that, because you can short your life in the best possible way, meaning rather than going the long journey and figuring things out and throwing pasta at the wall and seeing what sticks, you'll know, no, this is my lane. This is where it really works. This is where I'm happy and joy-filled and people receive me. So why me is because this is my lane. Visibility, since I'm a tiny girl, I was an actress and singer, and that was my joy for many decades. And when that shifted, I had enough exhaustion, if you will, to literally surrender my life and say, I don't understand why there's this crossroads going on, but I'm going to honor it because it's confusing and I'm going to see where it leads. And 3 years later, through many choices and opportunities that I accepted, I landed in radio, writing books, being on camera, speaking on stage, and then offering that to people to do the same. And I also started to understand the piece about, for instance, I've got an anthology book right now that I'm offering called Dogs Are Paradise. And I'm looking for authors to come aboard. And why that's sweet for some people, the writers love the idea of, I don't have to write a whole book. And Deb's going to handle the editing, the formatting, the book cover, the interviews, the launch to international bestseller. It's a fully done for them product, but they still get to say, I'm an international bestselling author this year. So I want to say another piece about that I think is really germane to right now, which is, what is your desire most that you haven't been doing out in the world? And if there was something you didn't want yourself to know, what would you know about yourself? Because time has stopped for us. I am in complete lockdown here in Los Angeles. I go out to walk my dog, maybe to shop once every couple of weeks. That's it, right? So everything else is here in my cocoon. And I too am looking at, who am I? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? What haven't I been doing that I've really wanted to do? And I love the list I'm creating and what is possible for me to step into right now. So if writing is your thing, being interviewed, writing a chapter, whatever it is, but emoting, getting your message out, this is such a beautiful time in and be able to express that, live that out loud in the world.
Well, that's so true. And I'm in the same situation here in Miami. Everything is on lockdown. All the hotels are closed. You can't, you really can't go anywhere or do anything. And I really don't want to because I'm kind of quarantining myself. And I love the idea of your book because I've been a big, of course, I've got 2 cats now, but I had a dog that I used to take for 11 years, every single month, back and forth, Florida, California, and she loved every minute of it. And when my kids were little, I had 3 kids, 5 dogs, and 3 cats, and it was a total zoo, and I loved every minute of it. But it's interesting because I think people who have, I have, my first business, I built up into 7 offices and 350 people, which I never want to do again. But in the last many years, I've been working out of my home in various locales, depending on, what home I was in and how I operated. But basically, I had really no one else around me or 1 or 2 assistants, and that was it. And I adore it. I'm having a wonderful time. I think I would not feel the same way, Deb, if I didn't have my cats, because they are a lot of company. But I have to say that I think this is making everybody look at themselves and what they're doing and how they're working and what relationships they have in a totally, totally different manner. So why do you think people miss this mark of the sweet spot? I mean, I know, just like you, I'm a speaker. I always say you could put me in the middle of the freeway and I could talk about potato chips for 3 hours if I had to. But why do you think people miss the mark and they fail? Because they're not really living their dream or their passion or their sweet spot, as you put it.
Yeah, people are too busy, first of all, way too busy. And if you're that busy, yeah, you're definitely not in your sweet spot, right? You're probably trying to do too many jobs that are not yours, like marketing or social media or virtual assistant kind of work that you need to hand off. And these days with the Philippines and other outlets, there are so many ways we can hire people and start at a rate that we can afford until we can build upward. And the other thing is looking at others. We're often looking outside of ourselves to say, oh, I admire that person. What is he doing? Oh, I'm looking at Gayle. She's amazing. She does a show. Maybe I should do a show. When in fact, it's not your sweet spot. It's Gayle's sweet spot. So stop looking at others and look within. This is such an opportunity to look within. We already know our own truth. We do, but we have to get silent enough to hear it.
So what is the difference in you working as a talk show host, as an actress, as a singer, compared to when you coach people in the same arena? I mean, I know that I am a great coach and a bad coach. I'm a great coach because I can really direct people as to where to go, but I'm a bad coach because I'm not necessarily empathetic. I like to tell people what to do, and it frustrates me when they don't do it. So how do you handle that? Because you're a strong woman, Debbi, and I can't imagine you taking a back seat when somebody's telling you, well, they can't do it or don't want to do it or something like that.
That's such an interesting question. I love it. I have to say I'm a great coach, and for two reasons. And that's not to toot my horn. It's because, again, sweet spot. First of all, I love people. Go figure. But I really love people in relationship. It's very prevalent in my life, connection, collaboration, and helping. And the other piece is I have been there. I know with great empathy and compassion what it feels like to not be operating on full throttle. And it's terrible. Pain is a great deterrent. And it's also a great motivator. And it's nothing I want to see happen to anybody else. And because my original wound was around visibility, my original wound growing up was feeling like, oh, I am not meant to be seen or heard for sure. So let me get really awkward and not know how to express myself and feel like I should disappear in a crowd. I know, Gayle, because you know me today, thinking, how is that possible? But that actually was the wound I lived through for a long time, until it became unacceptable. Like, okay, I'm not built for this. This isn't serving me or anybody else. And I keep perpetrating on myself exactly what I grew up with. The very thing I complain or resent, I grew up with, now doing to myself, and punishing the people who did it to me by holding myself back. I hope that makes sense. But it's literally like I'm taking myself down to validate and punish others, which is ridiculous because it was never about me anyway. It was just about them, right? And so I'm really here to fly. I learned to let go, grow some wings, jump off the cliff and fly, and know that I was fully supported doing the right thing. And I feel like when people come to me, they're at various places. Some of them are very successful. Some of them are just starting out. But wherever they are, I find people are actually very hungry. When it comes to books, it's just, could you show me the easy way to do this? Can you show me the right way to do this? And then it's my honor and joy to do that. And then I get to see them fly. There's a lot of joy for me in seeing people get through the process to the other side where they can say, I'm a published author. I just booked 5 of those amazing gigs and I'm getting clients and followers because of it. That makes me happy.
So I personally believe that there's a book in everybody. I think everybody has a story to tell. What is your process for getting the best out of people as to what they have to say?
Everybody's got a different genre. It's been so interesting over the years. I've had clients come to me who had graphic novels. I've had people self-help. I've had people who have had really hilarious comedy books, picture books, crystal books. I mean, you name it. And so I think really people have to figure out, what am I supposed to write? What's inside of me? Not again, what I think others want to hear, but really what's exciting to me to write about, or maybe it is a story. That said, once you figure that out, then it's really important to figure out where you're going to write. This is important. Again, no post at the wall, but where, what location, how many times a week or hours a day? How are you going to turn off all electronics? What are you going to have by the computer or the pad? Are you going to have tea? Are you going to have something that calms you down? Are you going to have low music in the background, or does that not work? So you have to set your environment so you're successful. And then you have to be accountable. And my people are accountable to me. Yes, I wrote today, promised I would. And when we check in and I do the coaching with them, the coaching is the process of how to write a page turner. I think it's really important when people write a book to understand you want people to say, oh, darn it, I was going to finish this chapter and go on with my day or night, but I have to keep reading, because then your book goes viral by word of mouth. And it's very important to edit properly, right? You want a book that's going to go out there and flow really well. I think it's really important in writing a book to have a back end, because if you're going to spend however much time, a month, 5 months, a year, writing a book, you must have a marketing plan in place. You must know with writing your book, half the way through, maybe 75% through writing it, that you've got a marketing team, or you hire somebody. You know, a company does a guaranteed international best-selling launch for authors. And it takes the onus off of them and creates for them what they want out in the world, because they want their book to be read. So all of these pieces, very important. And if you put, as an author writer, if you put your mind on each piece at a time, you'll do really, really well. I've had so many people who have been so successful at this, and they have used their book to attract the things and the dreams they said they wanted to create in their business.
Well, that's true. I think that a lot of people, I think everybody who owns their own business should have a book, because if nothing more, it's a calling card and it gives them great credibility. But what gave you, what in your background gave you the ability to do all of this? I can understand the acting and the stage presence and the radio shows and so forth. But what led you to be this great book editor and great book publisher and someone who can launch these kinds of things so they get to be an international bestseller?
Thank you for the question. I would say, first and foremost, I'm a nerd. And so I love researching.
And if you saw Debbie, you wouldn't think of her as a nerd. She is just a very attractive woman who really exudes a tremendous charm and energy, and you would not put her in the nerd category.
I'm a nerd in lamb's clothing. I really am. I love researching. There's something about information, not in general, not just trivia, but something I'm fascinated by, going to the depths of its core. And so that's what I did, because originally people just came to me 10, 13 years ago and said, I see what you're doing. Can you show me how? And then I'm not somebody who's ever just said, well, I am a certified coach. I never would say, oh, let's just wing it together. No, I did a ton of research so I understood what I was taking on. Then I've worked myself with people, because I believe that coaches deserve coaches. And I work with people who have won very grand awards in writing. They're very notable today, putting out books. And I've spent a lot of money and a lot of weekends with them, learning from them what they did and what they offer, and seeing my process. And the other piece, Gayle, is I look at my clients and say, what do you need? I feel like for all of our businesses, that is essential. Marketing survey. And I don't mean a monkey survey. I mean literally hands-on, talking to my clients, talking to potential clients and saying, what are your fears? What are your challenges? If you could create anything, what does that look like? Give me a price point for that. What would that mean to you? And what does that even look like? Is it online classes? Is it one-on-one? Is it videos? Is it something you follow in a program? And what I found was patterns would emerge. Oh, I want this, I don't want that. I need this, I don't need that. It made it really easy for me to deliver to people what it is, I would say 99.9% people said that they wanted and needed. And then it made these classes really successful, because they were able to take that information and generate it out into the world so that it created what they said they wanted. I am, my podcast, my radio show for 13 years is called Dare to Dream. It's the most important component for me, is to help myself and others create their dreams. And so even if that's a book or being interviewed with success, whatever piece that is, I want to help people achieve it successfully.
I think that's great. And I think that you have said a very important thing here, and that is most people who are successful will tell you they still have coaches. And every one of us has a coach, and every one of us invests in ourselves and in going to programs and in taking courses and always trying to get better and better and better, which is what I was trying to get across to my son, who, of course, doesn't do any of those things and thinks, there's certain, he just thinks in a cerebral way, so to speak. But it's interesting because I do believe in everything that you're saying, and I do think it's important to do dream. And if you don't have a dream, I mean, how are you really operating? Because you can't really operate without a dream. That's what you are striving for. So what kind of resources do you have, or what kind of support is available that you either offer or you use or that you think is important?
Resources such as in what I offer, or how
Sure.
do you mean?
Give us, well, for two things. First of all, I want to get you to give your website, and if you have a free gift, what you'd like to offer to the listening audience, and how people could get in touch with you. And then anything that you would suggest in terms of resources that you might use.
Sure, absolutely. So the first thing is, if somebody out there would like to write a chapter, start there. This is, I make this a masterclass, the anthology. It's at debbid.net/anthology. It's spelled debbid.net/anthology. So we do a Zoom online, and I teach the authors how to write, and then I hold their hand through everything. Some people write, and some people say, I don't want to write. So I interview them, and I have it transcribed into their chapter. And if you go to that URL, you'll see all that's offered, and you can register there. As well, the book coaching, the being interviewed, I have online programs, and you're welcome to go to my website, and you can click to those. It's a direct link to that selling platform for the online. And then if you want to work with me one-on-one, and I've got plenty of clients who prefer that process, just write to me on the contact form at debbidachinger.com. Of course, I'm on social media everywhere: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook group, fan page, etc. Yeah, just use my name and you'll find me very easy. And as far as resources, I will offer the free gift. I think it's a great place to start for your audience, debbidachinger.com/message, because I send out some information and videos. So I start very slowly building architecturally. How do you create your message? How do you even understand what your message is? How do you express it out into the world? So in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you can say who you are, what you do, why you, how you stand out, and what you stand for. So go to debbidachinger.com/message. It's my free gift to you, and get yourself started, because once you know your message, then I think your book, chapter, your interviews, they're all branched out from there with a lot of ease.
And let me give you the spelling of that. That's Debbi, Debbi, no E on the end, Debbi, and Dachinger is Dachinger. So it's debbidachinger.com/message. And of course, if you are interested in learning about being a part of her dog anthology book, it's Debbi D. Did you say net?
Yes, debbid.net.
Okay, so
/anthology.
/anthology. So there you have a few of the things that you can do to work with Debbi, and she's easy to work with. I mean, she's fun. She is demanding, but that's good. Nothing wrong with that. And we have about a minute and a half left, Debbi. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with that we haven't spoken about?
It's just such an interesting time. And I'm about as sensitive as anybody to the energy out there. And I know that they have said that every single one of us will know somebody who's impacted by this virus or who dies. And I can say I already do on both counts, infected and died. And I want to say that we have a choice about how we go through this time. I think it's so important that we let go of fear and that we move into what else is possible. Because if this time keeping us inside is allowing us to put seeds, the seeds of what were not previously there, the seeds of what we want to grow into, the seeds of what we really want to put out in the world. So important. And that's everything from kindness to each other. I have experienced so much kindness from strangers recently. You know, I have to go do
Deb. Me
something,
too.
right? And
Amazing.
how people are showing up, it's moving my heart. And so there's that, and what we're doing online. You know, I'm going to be starting an online book program. So if you're interested in that, be sure to connect with me, because this is a way for me to reach a lot of people with great ease all at once. So there's so much possible right now. There's no, everything's a yes. Step into your yes.
And one more thing, folks, I have started a new Facebook group for my SOB people who are over 50. If you're interested, it's facebook.com/groups/virtual SOB club. Hope to see some of you there. Thanks so much, Deb, for being with us today. And hopefully everybody will really benefit from your wisdom and your knowledge.
Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you.
You've had the opportunity to get to know me over the last few years, and I'd like to get to know you as well. One of the things I'm offering is training for the media. I have a wonderful program that will get you ready for any radio or TV interview you might be offered. Many of you are doing wonderful things, but no one knows about them. Others of you are successful and wonder, what's next? Whether you're in a business or have a special cause or a specific event you're promoting, media can help. And I can help you master your message so you can master the media. If this sounds interesting to you, email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com with media training in the subject line. I promise I will be in touch. Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.